All right, hello sixth graders. I'm trying it a little bit differently today. I'm trying to record from my phone, so we will see how that works. I guess you guys will know. Hopefully I'll get this uploaded by the end of the day. All right, so I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit from where we left off and then continue from there. All right. So Kendra studied the older woman. She was not Grandma Sorensen. Despite her white hair streaked with a few black strands, her face had an ageless quality. Her almond eyes were black as coffee, and her features suggested a hint of Asian ancestry. Short and slightly stooped, she retained an exotic beauty. Dad and the lanky man opened the back of the SUV and began removing suitcases and duffel bags. "You coming, Kendra?" Dad asked. Kendra opened the door and dropped to the gravel. "Just place the things inside," Grandpa was telling Dad. "Dale will take them up to the bedroom." "Where's Mom?" Dad asked. "Visiting your Aunt Edna?" "In Missouri?" "Edna's dying." Kendra had ever heard of Aunt Edna, so the news did not mean much. She looked up at the house. She noticed that the windows had bubbly glass. Bird nests clung under the eaves. They all migrated to the front door. Dad and Dale carried the larger bags. Seth held a smaller duffel bag and a cereal box. The cereal box was his emergency kit. It was full of odds and ends he thought would come in handy for an adventure. Rubber bands, a compass, granola bars, coins, a squirt gun, a magnifying glass, plastic handcuffs, string, and a whistle. "This is Lena, our housekeeper," Grandpa said. The older woman nodded and gave a little wave. "Dale helps me tend the grounds." "Aren't you pretty?" Lena said to Kendra. "You must be around 14. Lena had a faint accent that Kendra could not place. In October. An iron knocker hung from the front door, a squinting goblin with a ring in its mouth. The thick door had bulky hinges. Kendra entered the house. Glossy wood floored the entry hallway. A wilting arrangement of flowers rested on a low table in a white ceramic vase. A tall brass coat rack stood off to one side beside a black bench with a high carved back. On the wall hung a painting of a fox hunt. Kendra could see into another room where a huge embroidered throw rug covered most of the wooden floor. Like the house itself, the furnishings were antiquated, but in good repair. The couches and chairs were mostly the sort you would expect to see while visiting a historical site. Dale was heading up the stairs with some of the bags. Lena excused herself and went to another room. "Your home is beautiful," Mom gushed. "I wish we had time for a tour." "Maybe when you get back," Grandpa said. "Thanks for letting the kids stay with you," Dad said. "Our pleasure. Don't let me keep you." "We're on a pretty tight schedule," Dad apologized. "You kids be good and do whatever Grandpa Sorensen tells you," Mom said. She hugged Kendra and Seth. Kendra felt tears seeping into her eyes. She fought them back. "Have a fun cruise." "We'll be back before you know it," Dad said, putting an arm around Kendra and tousling Seth's hair. Waving, Mom and Dad walked out the door. Kendra went to the doorway and watched them climb into the SUV. Dad honked as they drove off. Kendra fought back tears again as the SUV vanished into the trees. Mom and Dad were probably laughing, relieved to be off by themselves for the longest vacation of their married lives. She could practically hear their crystal goblets clinking, and there she stood, abandoned. Kendra closed the door. Seth, oblivious as ever, was examining the intricate pieces of a decorative chess set. Grandpa stood in the entry hall, watching Seth and looking politely uncomfortable. "Leave the chess pieces alone," Kendra said. "They look expensive." "Oh, he's all right," Grandpa said. By the way he said it, Kendra could tell he was relieved to see Seth putting the pieces down. "Shall I show you to your room?" They followed Grandpa up the stairs and down a carpeted hall to the foot of a narrow wooden staircase leading up to a white door. Grandpa continued on up the creaking steps. "We don't often have guests, especially children," Grandpa said over his shoulder. "I think you'll be most comfortable in the attic." He opened the door and they entered after him. Braced for cobwebs and torture devices, Kendra was relieved to find that the attic was a cheerful playroom. Spacious, clean, and bright, the long room had a pair of beds, shelves crowded with children's books, freestanding wardrobes, tidy dressers, a unicorn rocking horse, multiple toy chests, and a hen in a cage. Seth went straight for the chicken. Cool! He poked a finger through the slender bars, trying to touch the orange gold feathers. Careful, Seth, Kendra warned. He'll be fine, Grandpa said. Goldilocks is more of a house pet than a barnyard hen. Your grandmother usually takes care of her. I figured you kids wouldn't mind filling in while she's gone. You'll need to feed her, clean her cage, and collect her eggs. She lays eggs? Seth looked astonished and delighted. An egg or two a day if you keep her well fed, Grandpa said. He pointed to a white plastic bucket full of kernels near the cage. A scoop in the morning and another in the evening should take care of her. You'll want to change the lining of her cage every couple days and make sure she has plenty of water. Every morning we give her a tiny bowl of milk. Grandpa winked. That's the secret behind her egg production. Can we ever take her out? The hen had moved close enough for Seth to stroke her fingers with one finger. Just put her back afterwards. Grandpa bent down to put a finger in the cage, and Goldilocks instantly pecked at it. Grandpa withdrew his hand. Never liked me much. Some of these toys look expensive, Kendra said. Standing beside an ornate Victorian dollhouse. Toys are meant to be played with, Grandpa said. Do your best to keep them in decent shape, and that will be good enough. Seth moved from the hen cage to a small piano in the corner of the room. He banged on the keys, and the notes that clanged sounded different from what Kendra would have expected. It was a little harpsichord. Consider this room your space, Grandpa said. Within reason, I'll not bother you to pick things up in here, so long as you treat the rest of the house with respect. Okay, Kendra said. I also have some unfortunate news. We are in the height of tick season. You kids ever heard of Lyme disease? Seth shook his head. I think so, Kendra said. It was originally discovered in the town of Lyme, Connecticut, not too far from here. You catch it from tick bites. The woods are full of ticks this year. What does it do? Seth asked. Grandpa paused for a solemn moment. Starts out as a rash. Before long, it can lead to arthritis, paralysis, and heart failure. Besides, disease or no, you don't want ticks burrowing into your skin to drink your blood. You try to pull them off, and the head detaches. Hard to get out. That's disgusting, Kendra exclaimed. Grandpa nodded grimly. They're so small you can hardly see them, at least until they fill up with blood. Then they swell to the size of a grape. Anyhow, point is, you kids are not allowed to enter the woods under any circumstances. Stay on the lawn. Break that rule, and your outdoor privileges will be revoked. We understand one another? Kendra and Seth nodded. You also need to keep out of the barn. Too many ladders and rusty old pieces of farm equipment. Same rules apply to the barn as apply to the woods. Set foot in there, and you will spend the rest of your stay in this room. Okay, Seth said, crossing the room to where a little easel stood on a paint-spattered tarp. A blank canvas rested on the easel. Additional blank canvases leaned against the wall nearby, beside shelves stocked with jars of paint. Can I paint? I'm telling you twice. You have the run of this room, Grandpa said. Just try not to destroy it. I have many chores to attend to, so I may not be around much. There should be plenty of toys and hobbies here to keep you busy. What about a TV? Seth asked. No TV or radio, Grandpa replied. Rules of the house. If you need anything, Lena will never be far. He indicated a purple cord hanging against the wall near one of the beds. Tug the cord if you need her. In fact, Lena will be up with your supper in a few minutes. Won't we eat together? Kendra asked. Some days. Right now I need to visit the East Hayfield. May not be back until late. How much land do you own? Asked Seth. Grandpa smiled. More than my share. Let's leave it at that. I'll see you kids in the morning. He turned to leave and then paused, reaching into his coat pocket. Turning back, he handed Kendra a tiny ring holding 3 miniature keys of varying sizes. Each of these keys fits something in this room. See if you can figure out what each unlocks. Okay, I'm going to stop there for today, putting a sticky note in so I know where I'm pausing. Yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. I miss you. I wish we could be together right now, but we can't. And hopefully this helps and keeps you entertained. I'll read more and probably upload another video tomorrow. Bye.